Arnold Schwarzenegger is warming up backstage at the 1975 Mr. Olympia when a 280-pound powerlifter walks up and says, "Stage muscle, no gym strength." What happens in the next 8 seconds makes the entire pump room go silent. Pretoria, South Africa, October 1975, Saturday afternoon, 3:47 p.m. The Ster-Kinnicker Center Convention Hall sits in the heart of the city, a massive concrete structure built for conferences and exhibitions, now transformed into the battleground for the 1975 Mr. Olympia. Outside, the African sun burns white-hot against pale streets. Inside, the backstage pump room is a furnace of human heat and iron clanging and bodies pushing themselves to the absolute edge before stepping on stage. The pump room isn't glamorous. It's a converted storage area with concrete floors, exposed pipes running across a low ceiling, harsh fluorescent lights that buzz constantly, casting everything in that industrial white glow that makes every muscle fiber visible, every vein pronounced, every drop of sweat glisten like oil. The air is thick, heavy, difficult to breathe. Humidity from 20 massive bodies in contest condition, all of them dehydrated, all of them pumping blood into muscle tissue until their skin feels like it might split. The smell is liniment oil, sweat, and that particular metallic scent of maximum effort, of bodies operating at their absolute limit. 20 men occupy this space. The best bodybuilders on the planet. Serge Nubret, stripped down to posing trunks, his dark skin gleaming under the lights, hitting poses in the corner, checking his conditioning, making sure every muscle group is responding. Ed Corney, the master poser, moving through his routine with that balletic precision that makes other bodybuilders look clumsy by comparison. Franco Columbu, Arnold's training partner and closest friend, doing one-arm dumbbell rows with the heaviest weight available, getting his lats to flare one final time before prejudging. Lou Ferrigno, massive, young, hungry, the challenger everyone's watching, doing cable crossovers, his chest pumping up to ridiculous proportions, trying to prove he belongs in this elite company. And Arnold Schwarzenegger, 28 years old, defending champion, 5-time Mr. Olympia, the most dominant bodybuilder in the sport's history. He stands near a wall of dumbbells, wearing only his posing trunks and a thin tank top soaked through with sweat. 240 pounds of muscle, conditioned to the point where every separation is visible, every muscle belly distinct, vascularity running across his arms and shoulders like a road map of power. His skin is bronze from weeks of tanning. His hair is thick, styled back, already sprayed for stage. His face is calm, focused, that particular expression of controlled intensity that defines him. He's not the biggest man in this room. Lou is bigger, but size isn't everything. Arnold knows this. Everyone in this room knows this. The judges know this. That's why Arnold has won 5 times. That's why he's the favorite today. Arnold is doing strict barbell curls with 135 pounds, not heavy by his standards, not about moving maximum weight, about pumping blood into the biceps, making them swell, making them respond, getting them ready for the stage lights, for the judge's eyes, for the moment that matters. He does 12 reps, controlled, focused, feeling the pump build with each repetition, feeling his biceps engorge with blood, feeling that tightness, that fullness that tells him his body is responding exactly how it should. He sets the bar down, walks to a full-length mirror leaning against the wall, flexes his arms, checks the peak, checks the separation, checks the vascularity. Everything looks right. He's ready. He's been ready for weeks. This is just maintenance now, just keeping the pump alive until his number gets called. The pump room operates on a rhythm. Men rotate between exercises, between mirrors, between moments of isolation and moments of interaction. Some bodybuilders are social, talking, laughing, trying to release nervous energy through conversation. Others are completely internal, headphones on, eyes closed, visualizing their routine, mentally rehearsing every pose, every transition, every moment they'll have on stage. Arnold exists between these extremes. He's social when it serves him, silent when silence serves him better. Right now, he's silent, focused, in his zone. Then the door opens. Heavy footsteps on concrete. Everyone glances over, instinctive reaction, checking who's entering their space, whether it's a judge, an official, a photographer, someone who matters, or someone who doesn't. It's none of those. It's a powerlifter. Not competing today, just here to watch, but the kind of man who can't help but make his presence known. 6 feet 3 inches, 280 pounds, thick everywhere, massive legs from years of heavy squats, huge back from deadlifts, arms like most men's thighs. He's wearing a tank top with power written across the chest in faded letters, gym shorts, knee wraps hanging loose around his calves. His face is red, sweating despite doing nothing. Just the heat of this room combined with the heat of carrying that much mass. His eyes scan the room with that particular arrogance of someone who measures strength only one way, by the weight on the bar, by the numbers lifted, by the pounds moved through space. His name is Peter, local powerlifter. Competed in South Africa's national championships twice. Placed third both times. Squats 800, deadlifts 900, benches 500. Respected in powerlifting circles. Known as one of the strongest men in the country. But he's never competed in bodybuilding, never stood on stage in posing trunks, never had his physique judged for aesthetics, for proportion, for presentation. To him, bodybuilding isn't real strength. It's performance. It's posing. It's stage muscle designed to look impressive under lights, but incapable of doing real work, of moving real weight, of demonstrating real power. Peter walks slowly through the pump room, looking at each bodybuilder like he's examining livestock, assessing, judging, dismissing. He stops near Arnold, watches him do another set of curls, watches the controlled reps, the perfect form, the focus. Arnold finishes the set, sets the bar down, doesn't acknowledge Peter, just moves to the mirror, flexes again, checks his pump. Peter speaks. His voice is loud, Afrikaans accent thick, designed to be heard by everyone in the room. This is what you call strength? Curling 135 pounds? My warm-up weight. The pump room doesn't go silent, but conversations drop in volume, attention shifting toward this confrontation, waiting to see how Arnold responds, whether he responds. Arnold continues looking in the mirror, doesn't turn around, just says calmly, different goals, different training. Peter laughs. Not a friendly laugh. The laugh of someone who thinks they've already won the argument. Different goals. That's what you bodybuilders say when you can't move real weight. Stage muscle, no gym strength. You look impressive, I'll give you that. But can you actually do anything? Can you lift what I lift? Can you move real weight? Or is it all for show? Now Arnold turns. Looks at Peter directly. No anger in his expression. No defensiveness. Just calm certainty. I can move what I need to move. Which is what? 135-pound curls. Peter grins, looks around the room, making sure others are watching. I bench press more than you squat. I squat more than you deadlift. You're built for posing, not for power. There's a difference. Franco Columbu steps forward, protective, loyal, ready to defend his friend. But Arnold raises one hand slightly, a small gesture that stops Franco immediately. This isn't Franco's fight. Arnold doesn't need defending. He's dealt with this his entire career. The accusations that bodybuilders are weak, that muscle size doesn't equal real strength, that it's all cosmetic, all vanity, all show. He's heard it from powerlifters, from strongmen, from old-school gym owners who think the only measure of a man is how much he can lift in competition. Arnold asks Peter one simple question. What do you want? I want you to prove it. Prove you're not just stage muscle. Prove you can actually move real weight. How? Power clean. 315 pounds. If you can clean it, I'll shut up. If you can't, you admit bodybuilding is just posing, just performance, no real strength required. The pump room is fully quiet now. 20 bodybuilders watching. This is dangerous territory. Not physically dangerous. Arnold can move 315 pounds easily, but strategically dangerous. He's 40 minutes from prejudging. His body is dehydrated, depleted, pumped full of blood but empty of glycogen. His muscles are engorged but not fueled. He's in peak aesthetic condition but not peak strength condition. A heavy power clean right now could cause a cramp, could cause a tear, could disrupt his pump, could ruin everything he's prepared for over the past 16 weeks. One wrong movement, one moment of imbalance, and he could lose the Olympia before ever stepping on stage. Franco says quietly in German, the language he and Arnold use for privacy, "Don't do it. You don't need to prove anything to this man. He's nobody. Let him talk." Arnold considers this. Franco is right. Peter is nobody. Not a judge, not a competitor, not anyone whose opinion matters. Walking away would be the smart move, the safe move, the move that protects everything Arnold has worked for. But Arnold didn't become five-time Mr. Olympia by taking safe moves. He became champion by never backing down, by never showing weakness, by never letting anyone believe they could intimidate him, diminish him, or make him doubt himself. If he walks away now, Peter tells the story. Arnold Schwarzenegger couldn't prove his strength. Arnold Schwarzenegger backed down. The bodybuilders are all show, no substance. That story spreads. That story diminishes what Arnold has built. Not just his reputation, but bodybuilding's reputation. The sport he's helped legitimize. The sport he's helped bring into mainstream consciousness. Arnold says to Peter, 315. One clean. That's all you want. That's all. Prove you're not just posing muscle. Arnold walks to the barbell resting against the wall. An Olympic bar. He starts loading plates. 45-pound plates, for per side, 25-pound plates to finish. The bar bends slightly under the weight. He slides clips on, securing the plates. Tests the bar with his hands, feeling the weight, the balance, the center of gravity. Behind him, the pump room is frozen. Serge Nubret has stopped posing. Ed Corney has stopped moving. Lou Ferrigno watches with intense curiosity, wondering if Arnold can actually do this in his current depleted state, wondering if this is the moment the champion makes a mistake, creates an opening, gives the challengers a chance. Arnold removes his tank top, just posing trunks now. His body gleams under the fluorescent lights. Every muscle fiber visible, every vein pronounced. His skin looks thin, stretched tight over muscle and bone. He's depleted, empty, running on discipline and nothing else. This is the worst possible moment to attempt a heavy power clean. The worst possible moment to demonstrate explosive strength. But he's committed now. He's not backing down. He approaches the bar, stands over it, feet shoulder-width apart, looks down at 315 pounds loaded on the bar. In training, fully fueled, fully hydrated, he cleans 405 without difficulty. But right now, he's not in training condition. He's in stage condition. Those are opposite states. Training condition is about performance. Stage condition is about appearance. You can't maximize both simultaneously. That's the fundamental trade-off of competitive bodybuilding. Arnold bends down, grips the bar. Hook grip, fingers wrapped around his thumbs, the secure grip used for heavy Olympic lifts. His hands are perfectly positioned, shoulder width, chalk dust white against his bronze skin. He takes one breath, deep, controlled, lets it out slowly, centers himself, finds that internal place where doubt doesn't exist, where fear doesn't exist, where only execution exists. The room holds its breath. Peter stands 10 feet away, arms crossed, confident, certain Arnold is about to fail, about to prove his point, about to validate everything powerlifters say about bodybuilders. But Peter makes one critical error. He steps closer, not to help, to watch, to see Arnold struggle, to witness the moment of failure up close. He positions himself directly in Arnold's pull line, 3 feet from where the bar will travel, close enough to see every muscle fiber engage, close enough to hear Arnold's breath, close enough to watch the strain, the effort, the difficulty. It's an intimidation tactic. Standing in someone's space during a heavy lift, making them aware of your presence, disrupting their focus. Powerlifters do it to each other all the time. Psychological warfare disguised as observation. Arnold sees Peter move closer, registers his position, doesn't say anything, doesn't ask him to move, just recalculates. The bar path, the explosion point, the catch position. Everything adjusts in his mind in half a second. He knows exactly where this bar is going. He knows exactly how fast it's moving. And he knows exactly where Peter is standing. Arnold initiates the pull. First pull. Bar breaks from the floor. Weight transfers from his back to his legs. His knees extend. The bar travels up his shins, past his knees, accelerating. Second pull. His hips explode forward. His shoulders shrug violently upward. The bar rockets off his thighs, traveling vertical at maximum speed. This is the moment of peak power generation. The moment when 240 pounds of depleted muscle fiber generates enough force to move 315 pounds from mid-thigh to overhead position in one continuous motion. The bar travels upward fast, faster than Peter expected. The weight doesn't slow, doesn't hesitate, doesn't struggle. It explodes upward like it weighs half what it actually weighs. Arnold drops underneath, catches the bar across his front shoulders, elbows high, bar resting in the secure position, then stands up, completing the clean. One smooth motion. Perfect technique. Perfect execution. No struggle. No strain. Just controlled power applied precisely at the right moment in the right direction. But Peter is too close. When the bar exploded upward, when Arnold generated that massive force, the bar path traveled within 6 inches of Peter's face. 6 inches. Close enough that Peter felt the wind from the moving bar. Close enough that if he'd been 3 inches closer, the bar would have made contact. Close enough that he understood, viscerally, in that animal part of his brain that responds to danger, that Arnold knew exactly where he was standing and lifted anyway. Peter stumbles backward. Instinctive. Protective. His hands come up defensively even though the bar is already overhead, already secure, already in Arnold's control. His face goes from confident red to pale white in 2 seconds. The realization hits him. Arnold didn't struggle. Arnold didn't ask him to move. Arnold just executed. With full knowledge that Peter was standing there. With full awareness of the risk. With complete control over where that bar traveled. Arnold holds the bar overhead for 2 seconds. Not showing off. Just confirming control. Then he drops it. The bar crashes to the concrete floor with a sound like thunder. Plates ring against each other. The entire pump room feels the impact through the floor. Arnold steps back, looks at Peter, doesn't smile, doesn't gloat, just looks. His chest is heaving slightly from the effort. Sweat runs down his face, his chest, his arms. But his expression is calm, controlled. That same focused certainty he had before the lift. Peter can't speak. His mouth opens, but nothing comes out. He's just understood something fundamental. Arnold Schwarzenegger isn't just stage muscle. Arnold Schwarzenegger is legitimate strength wrapped in aesthetic perfection. Arnold Schwarzenegger just demonstrated explosive power while depleted, dehydrated, and 40 minutes from the most important moment of his competitive season. And he did it with full awareness that Peter was standing too close, with full control over the bar path, with absolute precision. The pump room remains silent. Franco allows himself a small smile. Lou Ferrigno's expression is unreadable, but he nods once, respecting what he just witnessed. Serge Nubret resumes posing, the show over. Ed Corney goes back to practicing his routine. The rhythm of the pump room resumes. But something has shifted. Everyone here just saw the champion respond to a challenge without hesitation, without fear, without doubt. That matters. That sends a message. Not just to Peter. To every competitor in this room. Arnold doesn't defend his title with words. He defends it with action. Arnold picks up his tank top, pulls it back on, walks to the water fountain, takes a small sip, just enough to wet his mouth, not enough to bloat his stomach. He returns to his dumbbells, resumes curling, rebuilding the pump he just disrupted with the power clean. His biceps respond immediately, swelling back to full size, vascularity returning. He checks the mirror again. Everything looks right. Better than right. The brief moment of heavy lifting somehow enhanced his pump rather than disrupted it. The blood flow, the adrenaline, the full body engagement. Sometimes stress makes the body respond better. This was one of those times. Peter still stands there, unsure what to do, whether to leave or stay, whether to apologize or just disappear. Arnold doesn't acknowledge him. Doesn't need to. The conversation is over. Not because of words. Because of action. Because of 8 seconds of perfect execution that answered every question Peter asked. But then Arnold does something unexpected. He turns, looks at Peter, and says quietly, just loud enough for Peter to hear, not loud enough for the room. Different sports require different strength. You're strong. I respect that. But don't mistake aesthetics for weakness. We train differently because we compete differently. Doesn't make either invalid. Peter nods slowly. The shame is overwhelming, but Arnold just gave him an exit. A way to leave with some dignity intact. A recognition that powerlifting strength is legitimate even as bodybuilding strength is legitimate. They're different. Not better, not worse. Different. Peter mutters, yeah, okay, and walks toward the door, slower than he entered, quieter than he entered, humbled but not destroyed. That's Arnold's gift. He could have humiliated Peter completely, could have celebrated, could have mocked, could have made it worse. Instead, he gave him truth and respect, made him understand without destroying him. 40 minutes later, Arnold walks on stage for Prejudging. The crowd roars. The lights hit him. He's perfection. Every muscle group responding. Every pose executed with flawless precision. The judges compare him to Lou, to Serge, to Franco, to every challenger. But there's no contest. Arnold is on another level. Not just physically, mentally. The man who just power cleaned 315 pounds while depleted 40 minutes before prejudging now controls the stage like he owns it. Because he does own it. He's earned it. Every rep, every set, every moment of discipline over 5 years has led to this moment. Arnold wins his 6th Mr. Olympia title that night. The most dominant champion the sport has ever seen. But years later, when people ask him about 1975, about what he remembers most, he doesn't talk about the trophy. He talks about the pump room, about the powerlifter who challenged him, about the decision to respond rather than walk away, about 8 seconds that defined not just his strength, but his character. Because real champions don't just win on stage. They win in every moment when someone doubts them. They win every time they're tested. They win by showing up, executing, and letting their actions speak louder than any words ever could. Who challenges your legitimacy? Who says you're all show, no substance? And when that moment comes, when someone demands proof, do you walk away or do you step up? Because champions don't explain themselves. Champions demonstrate. 8 seconds. 1 lift. 1 decision. That's all it takes to prove that real strength comes in many forms. And the strongest form is the one that doesn't need to justify itself to anyone.